630 CHED presents The Announcers. Opinion, personality, passion. The Announcers on 630 CHED, Edmonton's breaking news and conversation station.
I'm very excited about this week's edition of The Announcers. It's always a pleasure and a treat to hang out with Jalen Nye and Andrew Gross, hosts of the afternoon news here on 630 CHED. But it's a big building with many radio assets.
You could
nice ones too.
I thought you were going to say another thing.
Yeah, I was going to say a couple of our nicest assets.
Oh, zing!
Here in studio, Dani Jay from Fresh Radio.
Hey.
You commandeer the airwaves for thousands every weekday morning. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
What do you make of this Nannygate? Have you been paying attention to the PM's hired help?
I have, and I know you're a new dad, so I got to ask this. Do you have a nanny?
No.
No.
I could use one.
Did the thought cross your mind though? Like before you had the baby, were you
Well, here's the
thinking,
deal. So my wife is on mat leave right now.
Yeah.
So she's kind of playing. We're kind of sharing nanny duty, but as everybody knows,
She's doing it all.
with a 4-month-old kid. I mean, Dad's kind of there for moral support. I do what I can. She's helping out. We're having a conversation though. What happens when Carrie's ready to re-enter the workforce, and how are we going to manage it? The nanny thing is an added cost, and you'll remember on the campaign trail as Justin Trudeau, then the Liberal leader, was trying to appeal to Canadians. He was talking about how they're going to help the middle class element, but those upper income earners, he said the wealthy families like Mr. Harper's and mine, we don't need the help. A month later, we're paying for his help.
2 of them.
He's got 2.
And I was actually looking because I was like, oh, I wonder how much a nanny is, because I have some friends that have nannies. And you know what? The husband works away a lot. The wife works, and they're expensive, like $1,800 a month. And that's about how much I think when you do the math about it, I think that some are getting paid like $11 an hour for the nights and then 15 to 20 during the day. But you know that Trudeau can't afford that. We don't have to pay for that.
Yeah,
but
the taxpayers are footing the bill, and a lot of people are saying, well, obviously the Prime Minister should have a nanny. It's sexist to suggest that his wife, Sophie Gregoire Trudeau, should automatically be looking after the kids. She probably has her own things she needs to do, and she should be entitled to do those. People say the Prime Minister shouldn't be cooking for the President or for the German Chancellor when they come over, so he should have a chef, he should have a groundskeeper. I agree with all of this. As a matter of fact, I even agree that the Prime Minister should have a nanny. But the Prime Minister shouldn't have a nanny when a month ago he said he didn't need the help with one.
That's true. Now he's kind of backstepping. He's like, no, and he needs 2. He needs 2. It's not just 1. He said he got 2. So it's kind of just like, Now the thing is, taxpayers are paying for it. Are you okay with him, just paying for it on his own? Or do you think that's going to come out of our pockets somehow?
Great. I think he should.
Okay.
The Prime Minister draws a salary.
He's busy, right? He's a busy guy.
We know that he comes from a wealthy family. I don't care if he comes from a wealthy family or not. That's not something he brought it up. He said he didn't need Canadians to pay for it, and now he's getting Canadians to pay for it. I mean, I know we expect some element of hypocrisy from our elected officials. It's just the sad reality. It's the sad truth. But I at least thought that we'd wait, like maybe 2 months till he could totally contradict everything that he campaigned on? I don't know.
Well, take away that he said he didn't need one, and then he goes and gets one. But if you take that side of it away, just to defend the guy, I mean, he needs a driver. He's not driving himself around. We voted in a young dad.
Yeah.
We voted him in. It's obvious he's going to be gone representing Canada. So if he didn't lie about it, I don't even think this would be an issue.
Well, I think we all agree. It's fine that the Prime Minister has nannies. It's just who should pay for it, us or him?
Him.
I want the government to pay for my child care.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to happen.
No, sorry.
They're clawing that back from a lot of Canadians.
Yeah.
But he's kept his. What should we provide? What should taxpayers pay for at 24 Sussex Drive?
Definitely his conditioner, his hair conditioner, because we got to keep his hair. His
It's
hairstyle.
what the world's talking about.
Our stock, Canada's stock, is through the roof right now, just from like other countries' memes alone. I think with Trudeau, so we're happy about that.
Do you believe that Justin Trudeau as Prime Minister is giving Canada a better global perception?
I think so. I think for the younger crowd, absolutely. You see a lot more people talking about him, even if it is sharing a meme. The only time they did it about Harper was like, oh, look at this old fart sometimes. So it's kind of nice to have the younger people doing it, even if they're just kind of having fun with it.
When was the maybe they might not know his name, but I mean, Canadians, we've always kind of like laughed about that. How many times you see it, you go down to the States and there's a viral video on you make up the name of the prime minister, and every American says, yeah, that's who it is. That's who it is. So at least now, at the worst, they're gonna say, oh, it's that good-looking guy, the shirtless boxer. We'll take it.
You know what? I'll be the nanny for free. Can I do that? Should we
Probably.
Yeah. Hey, I just move in, and I don't have any background in taking care of children, but
That's I'm not sure how necessary that
Okay.
is. You strike me as a good person, trustworthy.
leashes. Kids go on leashes now, don't they?
How did
sometimes?
I was following a mom. That sounds weird. I wasn't following her. I happened to be walking behind her at the mall the other
Yeah.
day. It was a really cute way to spend about 45 minutes to an hour of my time just following this. Not really, but she had her 2 kids on leashes.
Lots of parents.
Now they're
do.
disguised as like
Yep.
it's like a monkey backpack
Yeah,
with the
it's
big
cute.
tail. It's cute, but it's a leash.
But if you have, and my girlfriend, she has 2 little boys, and she said she had to because they ran. They would run. They would just run. And, if you have 2 and one starts running and the other one runs the other way, what do you do?
We did the same thing with our boxer, with our dog.
Yeah.
If you put a leash right onto his collar, he pulls. If you put him in a harness,
Yeah.
he doesn't. And we might be onto something here, Danny.
Well,
Harnesses for
the kids
kids.
don't just run. Some of them are just dumber. When I was young, when I was 8, I was with Disneyland. You've been there? You've been to
No.
Disneyland? You've been to Disneyland?
Oh, sure.
You know how busy it is? I was just excited walking around. I followed the wrong family and I got lost. And I had to go to like the village of lost kids
Uh-oh.
in Disneyland.
It's
that a
called
real
Small
place?
World, isn't it? You're just on the
It
small
was
world.
seriously, yeah.
village
I was
thing.
lost in Disneyland because my parents didn't put a leash on me. And I
But
was
you
just
were all
wandering
these
around.
kids were together in their lostedness.
Yeah, they had Honey, I Shrunk the Kids
Oh,
was
see, that'd be
playing.
the best place to get
There
lost.
was rides. There was kids crying in the corner. There was snacks.
You're
Little bit
not
of
kidding
everything.
me? There's an actual.
Okay, so the one thing that my parents told me when we went to Disneyland,
Yeah.
if you get lost or separated, go to a vendor and tell
Tell
them, hey,
them?
I can't find my parents. So I followed the wrong family. I'm looking around, and I have a family with 6 of us. So they didn't even notice me for hours probably. And
Home Alone.
yeah, exactly. And then so I'm checking in with the vendor, and it's like, oh, I can't find my parents. And it was like literally, they didn't even flinch. It's like, yeah, Jim, we got another one. Get over here, like 67. Go to here. There was like sections, and so I was in this little. Yeah, I was like the island of misfit toys. It was hilarious, and I really had a good time. And then my dad comes in, and he's like sweating,
Scared.
blood running off his hand because he was knocking people out of
Oh,
the way
boy.
looking for his son. And I'm like, oh hey, Dad.
Were you
is it
kind of
lunch yet, or
disappointed
what?
you had to leave with
yeah,
your parents?
exactly. I was in the middle of the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in the middle of the movie.
Aw.
How did your parents parent? Were they, because now there's titles, right? There's helicopter parents.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And there's all these different. I heard someone the other day, was it like a steamroller parent or a bulldozer parent? They said
Oh.
they get everything out of the way of the kids. They eradicate all of the obstacles. There's all these different qualifiers now.
Yeah. I would say my parents were just like kind of the laid back. They were the young parents because they had me like very, very young. So they were the ones that had me when they were 17. So they were like the teenage parents. Is that
learning.
one?
They were learning
So
how to
yeah,
become adults.
they made all the
Like that.
mistakes with me, and then by the time my younger sisters came, then they're like, "Oh yeah, shouldn't probably smoke and drink and do all that kind of stuff." Saskatchewan parenting, I call it.
Your parents were 17 when they had you.
Yeah.
So you must have a really cool relationship with your parents
I
now.
do. It's like BFFs, like best friends.
No, I know what BF. You think because
Oh.
I work on
I don't
630
know.
Chad, I
Yeah,
don't
you're a
know
little-
what BFF means?
OMG.
OMG.
The OMG.
LOL.
doesn't know what BFF
What about the
is.
old ones like SWAK? Remember that?
Oh,
Sent
yeah,
with a
yeah.
kiss?
Okay, so you are a new dad. How do you think? Are you already
It's
turning
too
into
early
one of those
to
stereotypes?
talk about parenting styles, I think. Oh, you know what? Actually, that's not true because friends of ours have told us their model is based on letting the kids cry themselves to sleep.
Okay.
And I know that this is a very divisive topic for some parents. Some swear by it. The kid has to learn to go to sleep. And so I was having this conversation with my wife, and our little guy was in his room, and he was crying. And she said, "Could you get to him?" And I said, "Well, I was just having this conversation with Julie a while back,
Yeah.
and she told me that they let their kids cry to sleep." And Carrie said, "Yeah, but like not when they're a month old. You know, that's for when they're like 1
Yeah.
or 18 months or 2, but you don't let an infant cry itself to sleep."
Yeah,
And I was
'cause
like,
maybe you
okay,
never
fair
know.
enough, because like you never know, and,
Yeah.
and that's the only way they can communicate, and plus they're fresh.
Yeah.
You know, they're fresh like your radio.
Yeah.
You know, they're brand
Nice
new to
one.
the. You like how I work that in? We call that brand integration.
Ooh, I
That's
like it.
very
They're
nice.
really
But
good.
they're tiny little brand new humans.
You gotta check on 'em, yeah.
New blossoms on the vine or whatever you want to say. So yes, we check it. So I guess that might be kind of an infusion of parenting style. But right now, I'm just trying not to. You know that society has hellions that are like 5, 6, 7 months old, and you wonder, with respect,
Yeah.
where did those parents go wrong that early? And so that's something that's always on my mind. You want to make the right decisions right out of the gates, but you don't know what the right decisions are.
Well, and you don't know what the baby wants either. So it's like, well, maybe he's just crying because there's a smell in the room that he doesn't like,
how the Oilers are playing, or he doesn't.
He'd be crying a lot then. But they did. We're coming off a win, so
great,
there you go,
great win. Yeah. Would you be prepared to parent right now, Jay?
Yeah, I think I would be. Big family, so I'm around a lot of young kids, or I was. Now I live kind of far away from them, but yeah, I think I could do it. But then you see the odd parent, and you'll know now. I bet your friends that don't have kids, do you have that same like? Do they get that? You get that glossy eyes, and you're just like
they're drunk
every now and then, and you can relate to this with your sisters.
That's what that is.
They give you that one look where it's like, don't ever have children ever.
It is. You got to be.
You get about one of those. I get about one of those a month from like my close siblings and my cousins that have children, and it's like that. Yeah, one day a month at least. I'll just get that, even if I'm just having a random conversation with my cousin who we're like brothers. We have that random conversation. Middle of the conversation, I'll just turn and say, "Don't ever have children ever." And it's like you can just tell the stress.
Oh, his voice is very growly.
That's what it sounds like.
Because you're running into people that are on 3 hours sleep.
Yeah.
Over the course of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And
that's what radio people get too.
Sometimes it feels like you're holding a grenade with the pin pulled. Wow. And you're just sort of trying to not.
I'm seeing his kids turning into the jerk stage now though, because I saw the cute.
I like them when they're that age.
They're the 8, 9 years old. Talk back, too cool for school, lying, like it. That side of the parent,
that's tricky.
I haven't seen that yet. It's just seeing that side of it it kind of pushes me to the other side every now and then. I'll look and be like, whoa.
Are you two the types to offer parenting advice to anyone?
No, I did it once to my sister, and she said, "Thanks, tips." She's like, "Where are your kids? And where's your husband?" And so I shut my mouth.
Do you remember what the advice was?
Because we went to Canmore for my mom's birthday, so she had her little girl with her. And she lost the soother. And I'm like, well, where's the soother? And you know how you can get those things that pin on now? You pin it, the soother can pin onto the baby.
Brilliant.
So I don't know what it's called. But I'm like, you should get one of those things where you just pin the soother onto her and then it just hangs and it's always on her. She's just glared at me. Thanks, tips. Stormed outside, went to the store in Canmore and went and bought a new soother. And I'm like, I'll just be quiet.
I wonder if you may be referencing the Kula clip, which was a made in Edmonton invention.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought those were barrettes.
Maybe they are too. I think that they have a product line that includes
a barrette
the
soother. Now we're on to something.
Yeah.
Ooh, you see how these things happen?
Yeah.
Now somebody's gonna race us to that.
Yeah.
I think you just issued a verbal trademark.
I think that does that count?
A verbal patent pending.
Of the what? What are you going to call it? The soother, what is it? Soother barrette clip?
Yeah, I think you might want to work on the.
Yeah, that's a terrible.
Work on the marketing.
Yeah.
Have either of you been to the district of Stewart, British Columbia?
No, can't say I have. Proud
JC's
British
a BC
Columbian
boy.
though, right here.
Where are you from?
I'm from Vancouver Island.
Ooh.
Drunken Duncan. Yeah.
Drunken Duncan? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, Duncan, the city of totems, right between Victoria and Iowa. Have you been there?
Yeah, no, I know where Duncan
Okay,
is. I just didn't know it was called Drunken.
Yeah, they're proud of it. We had T-shirts when we were in grade 12.
Nice.
Drunken Duncan.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you allowed to wear them? Because I feel like high schools now would not allow that.
I think that would fly
nowadays.
It seems to me like that because it would offend some people.
It would.
But it would also probably encourage the overconsumption of alcohol.
The reason the name, though, because we had the most DUIs per capita.
Well, that's something you
license.
definitely don't want to break.
Okay, so it's not like it's not a funny thing. I thought it was like based on something funny, like the mayor passed out at the town Christmas thing,
no. We were able to rhyme. Ish.
I see. So it's more of a dubious distinction than anything. Well, the reason why a lot of people are talking about the district of Stewart, BC, is because the town has had its internet service cut off indefinitely. The mayor there, Galina Durant, says this is like going from the car to the horse. To stay without internet, it's like you cut off a lifeline. It's a town of 500 people, and essentially a nonprofit society was providing the town's internet needs.
Really?
And it shut down after 20 years, and the town now has literally no internet access.
So why isn't there a company like a TELUS or something going in and putting internet there?
They're working on it, but I think it's like 12. They have to wait up to 12 weeks if they even approve.
And this probably involves, I would imagine, laying big fiber line, and there's
Yeah.
probably, I mean, you talk about certain companies investing in Edmonton. We're talking in the billions of dollars. Yeah, we are in a day and age now where they talk about how remote villages, you know, in the depths of the Amazon jungle or in the Horn of Africa or deep remote areas of Australia will all within, they say, the next 15 years have uninterrupted Wi-Fi access, and everybody will be sort of on the same level. But I mean, here's an example in British Columbia where that's not the case. It got me to thinking, though, what life without internet
That's crazy.
might look like.
Relaxing? Stress-free.
I
Not
see, it'd be
necessarily as
stressful,
annoyed.
though. It's not stress-free. You think it's stress-free because of Facebook and things. But, okay, you're going to go for dinner. How are you going to find
You're
the
not
restaurant?
going for dinner if you live. You're going to the next door neighbors.
How do you find your
town.
next door neighbors? You know, your address. You can't. How do you do anything without the internet? It's impossible. I'm on the internet.
It would literally
every single
change
day.
everything.
Yeah.
It would change how I think in my own life, and I'm going to go right from when I wake up. And if you even want to add in smartphones, okay. So I wake up to the alarm.
Yep.
The first thing I do is check news headlines, check my
Instagram,
email. I save checking the Instagram because I don't really care about.
Okay.
I'm
You're
sort
more
of
of a
more
newsie. You're the
well,
newsie.
but it's kind of like first thing in the morning. I need to know what I'm dealing with, right?
What am I waking up
How are you going
to?
to find out what your BFFs are doing, though?
How do I know what my BFFs are doing as their NOL and
RMFALO.
Anyway, okay, enough. I can't handle that stuff. My head spins. You know what? You know what it is? Is it makes me feel old. But the point is, I would lose my access to information. We don't have the newspaper delivered to our home anymore. Not that I don't value the work that they do. It would change. Probably Google Maps would change. It would change how we get around. It would change how we find information. It would change how we do our banking. It would change, I mean, literally almost every aspect of life.
Oh, you just brought up a big one. Going into the bank. I'd have to go into the bank. I can't remember the last time I went into the bank. Usually I'm just like, and then sometimes remember the lineups back in the day at the bank on payday to go. Oh boy.
Now, and even
Payday was always a good day, but
like, okay, paying mortgage, paying car payments. That is all from online. So, what you're gonna be writing checks for people if you live in this town? Like, how do you?
Do you even have a checkbook anymore?
I just ordered my first ever
Why?
checkbook when I moved to Edmonton.
First ever?
So that I could pay my rent that way.
A girlfriend of mine.
So I moved here last December, so a year ago. I got my first at 30 years old. I got my first ever checkbook, and I had no idea how to fill it out. I had to get my girlfriend to help me.
There's
Seriously.
a girl.
And I would
you
have
know her.
Googled it, and we couldn't do that in that town either if I didn't know.
You were Googling how to fill out a check? Is there some sort of
boy.
like irony alert
Oh,
on Google?
It's terrible. Yeah, exactly.
I had my first check given to me by my girlfriend. You've met her, Sheena, and Sheena came to the Oilers game with us, and then she forgot her debit card, and she was like, "I will write you a check." I'm like, you have a checkbook, and
someone took it.
She
took
wrote
the
me a
check.
check for the Rexall beers that I bought for her.
So get this though. And you know what? And also her writing you the check for the Rexall beers. Right now, people have lost their ability to get out of paying for things, right? The whole I forgot my wallet thing doesn't fly anymore.
No.
Transfer me the money.
Yeah.
Transfer me the money right now. You know?
And
No, you won't get me later. The I'll get you later thing.
What about do you remember like you'd go to pubs and restaurants and they'd have the list of people that write bad checks?
Yeah,
like, do not accept a check from this.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
NSF,
Will not
NSF.
accept an e-transfer from this.
My face is at all of them, smiling.
So I mean, both TELUS and the BC government say, to upgrade this community to high-speed internet is just too expensive, and the nonprofit provider couldn't contribute to matching that infrastructure. The society says it's not our intention to stand in the way of progress, but this is affecting this community. You can imagine they've lost their email, they've lost Facebook. I mean, how are people going to get angry
How
at
are
each
people
other?
getting poked in that town? I was waiting for that one, you guys.
They've lost Netflix. The town's public library catalog is down. Stores can't complete internet-based transactions, and there's no movie theater there, so people have lost their access to
you're not gonna rent
entertainment,
a
they say
movie.
as well. Winter travelers say they can't go to the Drive BC website. You get the idea.
Yeah, that's bad. Like, that sucks for those guys. Like, sometimes you think, internet. Remember the good old days?
No.
And I guess they will survive until it comes, but it's just a big
Well, how are you going to
pain
Google
in
how
the
to,
butt
like,
once
do
you've been so
anything?
used to doing
Think
it.
about all the things you Google on a monthly basis, like just like random things. Like the other day, I had to program.
You Googled how to write a check. So
Yeah,
I think that no one tops that one.
I like, you're in your garage, and you're like, oh, the garage clicker's not working. Google, boom, model number. 5 minutes later, some nerd had uploaded a video on how to like reprogram model A725 of the whatever brand for a garage door opener. Fixed it in 5 minutes.
A while ago, I watched a YouTube video on how to change the water pump on a 7.2 liter V8 GM engine for a 65 Cadillac, and then I went out and I did it. And there's how else would I have known to do that?
Yep.
I wouldn't have been able to do that. But, I mean, we talk about the beauty that comes without, and I think back to, before cell phones, this is our generation and the generations that have gone before us that can even talk like this, because kids these days, they're being born into this stuff. The fact that you can have your entire music collection on something the size of your pinky nail blows my mind. It's changed DJing. A lot of DJs they're not carrying milk crates full of vinyl around anymore.
No one does hardly.
How did people used to get in touch with each other? How did reporters research for stories?
How did
talk radio hosts determine whether or not their callers were actually telling the truth about things?
Oh, I remember
the good old days.
Yeah,
that sounds like the good old days.
Well,
it does.
Every radio DJ had 16 newspapers on the front of them. Like, unreal. But do you guys still even own CDs? Like, did you keep your old CDs?
I still buy
back in the
CDs.
day?
My boyfriend is obsessed with CDs. He's got like 700. He still buys them too.
Yeah,
700.
I still buy albums. I have to have the plastic
not me.
album, and I put it in the car.
I just get the cassette tape out and then go into my favorite radio station and hit record. Remember
Yeah.
those?
Oh yeah. And the really talented listeners could like cut off right before the like. How do you feel, both of you as announcers on Fresh Radio, that back in the day, if you got the announcer's voice on your clean dub on the tape, it was the worst.
It was.
It's true. Yeah.
And then there were the announcers that would always cut into the songs early, and you'd be like, "Ah,
Stop it.
let
Intro's
Janet
the best
Jackson
part."
finish." It's changed the game, but I will say sometimes when my phone battery, which is a whole other
don't bring
conversation,
that up. Stress, anxiety.
when my phone battery dies, sometimes it brings this forced serenity, and it always seems to happen when I'm walking my dog, because that's what I do when I get home. So it kind of marks the end of the workday, and that's typically when the phone dies. And I realize, I got to transfer that money, or I got to get back to that guy, or I got to ask my mom how she's doing, or and then I can't do any of it till I have to get home, and I go, that's what it was like. That's what it was like. I remember. Why don't we have Wi-Fi charging for phones? Why doesn't your phone start charging as soon as you walk into a room?
I don't know. I think you guys need to consider doing that invention along with your soother barrette
that would work.
clip thingy.
That would work, maybe.
Any other inventions on the? I mean, we don't have much time left, but
Yeah,
everybody's got that $1 million
one here.
idea.
Oh, I have a really good one. You want to know it
Yeah.
quickly? Okay, so when you go to the movie theater and your popcorn, you're like, oh, where am I going to put this? What if you had like a little Velcro that you could just stick the popcorn right in front, so you could just go reach in to the chair ahead of you, you know?
No, that doesn't
You don't
work, because the
you don't have
guy's
to hold
crotch knocks it off as soon as he goes to the bathroom.
No,
break.
but we're talking about no, you don't
Yeah.
put it on then. You put it
Yeah.
on when the movie's on, and then you put it on. think
I don't
it could be
mind that
awesome,
idea.
You guys.
We're
I used
currently
to-
looking for investors for
Yeah.
Dani Rose Incorporated.
Please,
but-
freshradio.ca.
if you could, I mean, you may just inspire some people to bring Velcro strips to the movie theater
Yeah.
with them, and they could improvise.
That seems like a lot
For
of work.
for years, I noticed that people would put up these beautiful Christmas lights, and they'd string them all over their houses, and they looked wonderful. And then they'd have these awful, like bright orange, or this sort of like stick out like a sore thumb extension cords.
Mm.
And I thought a candy cane striped extension cord would be
That is
brilliant.
good.
And it kind of became the joke around the family, and I'd always talk about it, and I'd always bring it up with $1 million idea conversations, and everyone would laugh, and I'd say, with investors we could make this happen. But really, I just didn't get off my butt and do it.
Did somebody do it?
My sister-in-law
no.
presented me with a Christmas gift last year. I opened it, and it was a candy cane striped
Nice.
extension cord, and the entire family just gasped.
Where was it from? Did
I'll
one
never
of your
tell.
friends?
I'm
Did
not
your
supporting someone who's I'm not supporting
of
someone who
your
stole
friends
my
is a
$1 million
millionaire
idea.
now?
That's the sign of a great inventor, though. You take something that already works and make it a little bit like Homer Simpson says. You put a clock on it and sell it yourself.
Yeah.
Dani and Jay, you can hear them both live every single weekday morning on Fresh Radio. When are you guys in there? Like 5 in the morning?
5:30. Yeah, 5:30 we start.
All the way
and,
through till
9.
beauty.
Yeah.
Thanks
a
for hanging out
long
on the
radio day.
announcers.
3
Yes,
hours.
thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Give these two a follow on Twitter, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for listening.